You're live.
Got it. Good to go.
Okay, excellent. So just a quick roll call, joining us online, we have Jeff and Lawrence joining virtually with Tara from the city running the control. In the boardroom here, we have Alana and Travis from the city, Kevin, Tracy, Nick, and myself. Did everyone have a chance to approve or look at the last 2 minutes for approval from the October 17th, and then the 31st was that special board meeting we did for the Deloitte presentation. And if I have a mover for the October 17th minute, Kevin, and a seconder, Tracy, all in favor of those minutes? Okay, and then for the October 31st Deloitte meeting, a mover. Okay, Nick. And a seconder? Trace? And all in favor of those minutes? Great, thank you. We did have a declaration of pecuniary interest given today on behalf of Lawrence, correct?
That is correct.
When we get to the Beaver Freezer, Lawrence will be declaring a conflict of interest there. Tourism overview and update. Travis, to you.
Okay, we've got some really good news as of this morning. Searchmount Resort has announced that it'll be open as of Friday morning, which is great. So we're just sorting out the details as to where they're pushing their marketing. We're going to do a little social media boost, Sudbury, probably northern Michigan. We're just confirming whether or not Boyne is open and some regional marketing on that. So very good news for us. We also found out as of today that the train is has opened their ticket sales. So same thing, we're just looking into how we can boost some of their marketing as well. So that's great. I'd like to just acknowledge that we had the Northern Ontario Tourism Summit last week, and we really cleaned up collectively in terms of awards for Sault Ste. Marie. We had Searchmount win the Innovation Award, I believe. I had these all written down and forgot them.
They wanted an investment attraction.
Investment attraction. The mountain bike trails won product development, and the lock tour boat Miss Marie won innovation. So it was great to see. I believe there was 8 awards overall, and we won 3 of them. So it was really great to get that acknowledgement. And we did our own social media release last week. The awards were Thursday night, and apparently DNO will be doing a press release today at some point. So we just thought, given the lag, that we would get out in front. The other piece that we found out about the summit was that FedNor intends to release tourism funding. Ideally, what they're saying is by the end of this year. From our experience, that's been known to lag, so we'll keep an eye on it. But there should be some opportunity for us to apply for some grants. So as soon as we find out more information, we'll be sharing that with the board. Lastly, probably everybody's had a chance to see our MAC numbers as of September. They've been reported with, we've got a couple of hotels that have yet to report, so the numbers are not exact, and as soon as we get those updated numbers, we'll share them with the board. That being said, year over year, September 2022 to September 2023, we're about $90,000 above what we collected last year. So we're still doing well in terms of MAC collections. And then I'm going to hop right into the bookkeeping update. So we've locked in Riddle and Luck accounting to do our bookkeeping. We're just in the process of organizing the formal transition. It'll take place January of 2024, and we'll work with them to make sure that it's a seamless transition and get them access to our bank accounts and payment system. And I believe that's it. I'm gonna talk about Deloitte and waterfront design plan under outstanding business after we discuss the tourism budget. Oh, sorry, and we're gonna play the video that we, Richard Jones did, for the opening of the summit.
Okay, bear with me.
The share on the.
Oh.
No. So see the blue share?
Share.
Yeah. They'll just click on.
Let me open it now though.
Click on
It's
the,
just in behind there.
I don't know how am I supposed to open it?
see the. Yeah. Let's play.
This year, visitation is up. We have 70% of our guests coming from outside of Sault Ste. Marie. We've had people from the United States, throughout Canada, in Quebec, even India, England, Germany.
Why should somebody's... No. Oh, hold on.
Texas, all over Michigan, Southern Ontario, BC. Yeah, it's great to see the Sioux becoming such a popular place.
Why should someone visit Sault Ste. Marie?
Well, the season was excellent. This is our first full year of operation, and our ridership was up over 300% over last year.
So why would somebody want to come to the Sioux?
We had a group on from Korea yesterday. It was so nice to see them back. It's been a fantastic year. So many passengers coming.
Are we rolling?
To paddle and explore the beautiful waterways of the area. To visit the Sault Ste. Marie Canal National Historic Site. To see the fall colors. To fish. Come walk and paddle with Métis Tours.
Enjoy arts and culture.
The arts and culture. Arts and culture.
You know, when you go to a new place, first thing you want to check out your downtown, the food, you know, activities going on in that place. And I realized there were North Syrian food here in the city, and I know how much good food we make back home. My restaurant has been running 4 years now in the Sioux.
Everyone should visit the Sioux to take the Agawa Canyon Tour train.
To walk among the trees! To ski, snowshoe, and fat bike at Hiawatha Highlands in the winter.
Ride our mountain biking trail.
Our mountain biking trails.
MTB trails.
Trails. Visit our microbreweries and our pubs.
Ride the Miss Marie.
To visit the cultural attractions.
The Sault Ste. Marie Museum.
Visit the Art Gallery of Algoma.
To see cool bugs and entomology insectarium.
To visit the Canadian Bush Plane Heritage Center.
Let Thrive Tours take you on an authentic Indigenous experience on both land and water.
Paddle the St. Mary's River.
So, October 31st, Halloween 2023. -3, -4 degrees last night, so we're making snow. Actually, it's only the second time in my life I've made snow on Halloween, so it's exciting. Our scheduled opening date, or our proposed opening date, is November 23rd this year. But if things go like this, we're going to open the first day we can. So we could be a week or two early, even. So it's very exciting for us. Need everybody just to thank Snow, and we'll see you on the slopes this year.
Richard did a phenomenal job with that video. I think everyone walked away wanting to visit some big room. How do I fix that?
I reiterate, I'm going to put that on loop in my lobby TVs.
I'll be right back.
Can everybody hear us? Perfect. Do you see the video okay? Yay! Perfect. Travis just stepped out. He's going to go get our guests that are going to be doing the presentation for the double-decker bus. So we'll just hold for a minute till he's back. Do we want to just move right into Sure. Whatever.
Deal with the vote first and do the budget afterwards, or what would you like to do? Or sorry, the bus.
Yeah, no, we can go ahead and do the presentation for JP. We were running a few minutes behind here,
Yeah.
so that's not a problem.
Okay. Perfect.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here for sure.
Introduction.
Yeah, so this is JP Stepnitsy. He's going to be presenting on behalf of Jeff and Sheila, who are, I don't know, Lawrence, I think they're somewhere near you. They're traveling and out of country right now. We felt that we wanted to deal with this in November so that we could bring it to, there's one more council meeting on December 18th. So JP is going to present about the bus and the TDF request.
Yeah. One of you, Tara's just going to get the presentation ready and up on the screen.
Awesome.
She will cue it for you. So when you're ready, just let me know and she'll give her the gap.
Got it.
She'll manage the technical, yeah.
Okay. First off, it's nice to meet everybody. Hi. To be honest, I'm quite excited to present this project. It's been really given a lot of thought in terms of, on how it works and what we want to accomplish. And I can truly say something I think that, once if things come together, it can be really a benefit for our community for sure. What I'm presenting to you, as you're sure aware, is a revitalization of an old double-decker bus to use today to provide a service that we lost several decades ago by two individuals who already have some tourism experience, have shown that they can get a tourism service up and running from the ground up and allow it to already thrive and be a benefit for our community. So for today, we're definitely talking about the bus and what it'll do for everyone here and everyone else in the community. So Terry, you can flip it. Okay, so first the ask. The ask is for a contribution of $60,000 to assist with the financing of the double-decker bus project. Next slide. Next slide. So a very, as I mentioned, brief synopsis. Here's the bus then. Here's the bus now. We're looking to bring the bus now to the bus then as best we can. I think Bellevue Park. This looks like, I don't know. No.
That one is just north of Whitefish Island. And then JP, just for your knowledge, the board's seen the majority of this.
Okay.
Because of the ask. The Tourism Sault Ste. Marie, the corporation, contributed $90,000.
Understood.
And then this request, just for clarity for everybody, is from the Tourism Development Fund.
Yeah.
Okay, next slide. So, why this project? To me, let's provide 5 key points. It's a unique addition. There's no double-decker bus currently in the city. We already have 2 walkthroughs, the boat up and running with Miss Marie. The background, when we really think about the company shareholders and the skill set they provide, the cross motion and ability to really allow multiple tourism services, not only at the company level, but across the rest of the community. And then going through downtown, supporting, the focus of downtown revitalization. Next slide. So here are some stops along the way. I'm sure you've read them all. I mean, as we kind of get into it, year 1 is definitely going to be a testing year. So as traffic comes in and out and gets monitored, and I'll call it, some of that data comes in and through, decisions will be made as more data becomes available. Next slide. Why am I here today? So original thought, we wanted to go to NYHSC for a launch project under a new company. Under this process, there would have been a 50% contribution. It then required to become subsequent to that, a growth program under the current corporation, which is a 20% contribution and 30% loan. So with your assistance today, from the financing side, it would help offset the loan side of that. Next slide. Okay, so I know and recognize that the business plan is, I've read through and whatnot. So I just kind of wanted to more focus on probably some of the main issues, in addition to the business plan that maybe would be considered. So just to kind of go through them one at a time. How many people before the bus leaves, and what are the hours of operation? Well, talking with Jeff and Sheila, we really believe that the first year needs to be a true testing year. Obviously they have some understanding of basic tourism traffic just based on the boat from last year and a bit, but really we want to use, especially given that 2023 would be a shorter operating year, starting from August instead of starting from May. Really focus on, we can project the market, but let's really understand the market. And so that's what the first year is all about. So definitely at the start, especially while school is still in May and students are still in school before they leave for the summer, starting 11 to 5 at first to really focus on our costs, offset by, the majority of traffic during that month in particular, depending on how it goes, with the goal of eventually 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Okay, next slide. Issue 2, security. We wanted to make sure we have an understanding there. How do we make sure that we have a good, safe, and comfortable experience for all passengers on the bus? Well, there's going to be a general manager as a function of this, I'll call it division, who will be on the bus. And one of, if not his top priority while on the bus, in addition to providing, a good service to the people on part of the tour, is making sure that the onboarding and offboarding of traffic throughout all the stops is done effectively and efficiently at all times. Next. 3 number of bus drivers, 3 part-time bus drivers, they've already been talked to. You can't really have, just to break up the shift work and understanding the hours of tourism, to stagger the 3 throughout part-time throughout the year was our best decision to make sure that we have a good tourism service. Next. So just some financial questions, definitely a couple of them, and then some more to address after, but some 4 to address right up front for sure. Total capex of projected capex of 195, 150, based on a quote from Northern Powertrain. All the materials based on the decisions of prefurbished and new parts, using new parts where possible. There's $20,000 in required POS and digital infrastructure. If I were to break down that 20 20 of it belongs to the POS system itself and Square, 10 for the website, 3 for Starlink, 4 for the ticket sale platform, rounding up to, you know, to 1,000 off, 20. Shareholder capital, well, we will keep the shareholder capital in place at 53075 as part of their capital for the overall project, and ensure that the proceeds potentially available would be used for NOHC and other purposes. Next slide. Okay, so to really dive into, so the CapEx is the 195, 150. We also have some other startup costs, as you see here, to bring the total project cost to 286, 150. To break out this 91, in addition to that 195, 150, we have set aside 15 for licenses and insurance, 55 for professional fees, 3 for some basic office supplies and whatnot, 25 for advertising to especially promote it up front and really let our community know, 15 for general working capital, 75 for initial staff training and management, along with that 20 for the digital infrastructure and POS system, to a total of 91,000. Next slide. To break out the CapEx of 195, 150, here are our 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 12, 13, maybe 14 categories, including the double-decker bus itself, which is to purchase for 25. Looking throughout the list here, some bodywork paint, some window sealing, glasswork, some interior modifications, repairs and upgrades, steel and hardware, and some remaining systems to make sure the bus can operate. Total materials being 131, 650, total labor being 63, 500, to get to a total CapEx of 195, 150, plus the 91 and other startup costs to get to 286, 150. Next slide. So, breaking down to 286, 150. You know, as you try and update it and consistently model it out as things change over time, because not everything from all places happens all at once. So what we're really looking at here is we see the 4 sources of funding. We want to help with this one. Okay, that one, Jeff and Sheila, NOHSC on the conditional side, tourism, Sault Ste. Marie, and then providing a little bit of an offset for the term loan. Next slide. Okay, any other financial thoughts? Current liens are security on the bus. There is no more current mortgages or security on the bus. Where are we with our other applications? You know, because we think about it, right? Several different sources. We got to make sure we're all kind of at the end of the day wanting to work together. Everything is right now tentative. All applications have been submitted. If there's a forecast available, that forecast is on the business plan, definitely available, and I'm free to discuss anytime, any questions. To provide one figure, our EBITDA is 95 in year 1, 55 in year 2, and 84 in year 3, to round them all off. Next slide. Some other thoughts. Okay, storage and inspection. So every year the Ministry of Transportation is going to have to inspect it, make sure everything's good there. We're going to make sure that the bus is properly winterized before closing down for each year, and it's going to be stored on private property during the year, housed at either the Bush Plain or the Pavilion. Again, no agreement there yet. There will be some advertising on the bus, and insurance is currently being shopped around. Next slide. So, yeah, thank you. You know, especially knowing that we all, you know, have seen the business plan or whatever, I just wanted to make sure we address some of the things when we think about when dealing with the operation, you know, how it works and how we got to get there, how we can all work together to accomplish that for sure.
And the request from the Tourism Development Fund is 60,000.
Correct.
And that 60,000 wasn't part of the consideration in there, correct?
The consideration in there was the initial thought when we wanted to do the NOHSC launch. And then it became apparent that the launch wasn't going to happen, so we had to switch to the growth, which came with a significant, a loan of about $86,000. So to work with that, that's why I'm here today. I'm asking from you all to offset that loan, and that offset of the loan would be where we are at today as part of the request, but not the original, but where we're at today.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For probably.
Okay.
Would it be, is it allowed, I guess, for this fund to give the 86 so that they don't have to get a high interest loan for the HFC?
So it could go to capital.
But is it something that can be done in a loan term?
In a loan?
So could we loan them the 86,000 at no interest or 1% interest?
No, because the loan would be coming from the city.
No, because the TDF is city money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that. I was hoping someone else would come to that conclusion for me. But why not the 86,000 instead of, why not the entire 86?
To me, in my eyes, I figured, really, I wanted at the end of the day for everyone to come together, and to me, 860 was the reasonable number to provide that piece.
You could look at it the opposite way. The board could loan the money out of their general development fund and do a very low interest rate on that as well.
So it is doable.
Just out of
It's not-
Or, as Lana said, you could, 60, 87, whatever the board wants to recommend, right?
Just, I'm sure this question is going to come up. Remaining in the TDF fund for this year is $326,000. And it'll be replenished again in January with an estimated 400.
400, yeah.
I guess my opinion is that we either are all in or all out. So I just don't know why we were turned all in. If we're already supporting the project.
I guess we have to go into both discuss particulars, or is it just open at this point?
What, so commercial negotiation, like it depends what particulars we want to discuss.
Look, so I would suggest that we've done even in the past where we say, we can give you this conditional and all the other aspects following through, right? Like, obviously the items or certain items are already dealt with, right? Like the money that we had approved before and whatever capital contributions the owners of the company put forward. But we say, like, you secure an OHFC, like a deal from OHSC, that we can say we can look conditional as if you're securing that. This way, like, we don't.
No, we would have been conditional on the 90,000, the same as we did with the boat, that there was a depreciation on the amount should operations cease after the first, second, third year.
The tourism board had an agreement with conditions on it. The TDF, it doesn't know, it would go through city legal and a whole city legal process for TDF money, and
What's in the general bill? That number
for the board.
Struggling getting all that numbers, but it's got to be close to $1 million.
And this, it might even be above 1.
That we can spend money from years that we can do nothing, right?
Or got to allocate some to,
Yes.
I've got a commitment for my Ashton Martin.
We do have a couple of people joining us online. Jeff or Lawrence, did you have any questions here for JP?
None for me.
Good, okay. JP, thank you. I think that answers our questions and we can debate it around a bit more and go from there, but we appreciate your time today and joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Nice meeting everyone.
Thank you.
We'll reach out back. Okay. Thanks, Jake. You're welcome.
Okay, so we'll backtrack on the agenda here a little bit now, and we're gonna go back to item number 6, which was new business in the 2024 tourism budget. Oh, I just figured we could step it up. So go ahead.
No, I short memory.
Okay, go ahead, Kevin. Did you have any
No, I
comments
just-
there? I mean, you're right, all, like, we're already backing at 90,000.
Right, so I guess I just didn't want to get into it any further with him, but why are we not? If we believe in it enough to give 90,000, why are we not just all in?
Well, and I mean, the 60,000 is what, 17,000 shy of what they're getting from an OHSC. It seems like a drop in hat. What did the tourism board put in? 990.
So it's an even request from the city.
Right, that's what to me makes sense, right? We put in 90, you put in 90, we get the work. They've got.
We've got the money.
Yeah.
I think that's good for us before that, because what are they doing on the rental so far on the bus? Have they started or they've been trying to just put stuff together?
I think, I can't speak on their behalf, but I think they were trying to put the financing together.
Yeah, I think they're ready to go, Jeff is just waiting.
Yeah.
Well, and with NOHSC changing the direction of their application as well.
So is it something we can come back to them and say? We would like to,
No, we can just move the resolution at 90,000. It's a recommendation that goes to council.
And, August it next year.
Conditional and they run and do the Great Northern Road.
that's too bad, look, you couldn't even make it. So,
I apologize to everybody, by the way. You guys were talking when I came in, I couldn't, but.
And I mean, to that aspect, they haven't ruled out Hiawatha as well, but that was part of their original presentation,
Yeah.
that, you know, to grow it out. That it's not just limited to, and that there would be the potential still there.
is the plan, because I can't remember for them to do this, the way they're doing this, right?
Like the number of rides.
No, doing it as a,
I think it's more step on, step off.
not a charter at night, not you can't rent it, not,
Well, we talked about renting it too, for special occasions.
because that's the money maker for them, right?
Mhm.
That's how they make money on,
Yeah.
on boat. If they have a bad day, they know for $2,000 that night they're covered.
Yeah.
So. I don't have.
From what I recall, you're not allowed to drink on it though. That was the only, from a,
On the bus.
on the bus.
Party bus.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Get you, we can get you to your.
Yeah.
Desired destination.
Okay, I will amend that resolution. Did anyone else have any comments or concerns in that direction? Again, I think this is a definite part to enhancement to what we already have.
And it certainly helps that you have an experienced operator
Yeah.
that we've already dealt with.
Mhm.
And, you know, we managed to, do a good job, very good job with the boat and stuff like that, so.
Yeah.
Certainly makes it more confident to people to say, okay, let's work again.
I go back, I know that broken record, but we're about to launch a strat plan. We're about to launch a waterfront development plan. This just fits right in.
Yeah,
So
100%.
to do that just marries them all together. appropriately.
It's nice to see the private sector confidence as well, right? Like, so I think it sends a good signal. That we're there to support.
They drop people off at the mount, those stop ticketing people.
That's why I thought they can't take the current. So, just a point, I think, for Jeff, is, because the quote for the repairs is coming from another company, if it's correct.
Mhm.
You might want to look at, just for transparency, having a quote from another business on some of the major projects on that. Just
I thought we're having confidence.
Just, yeah.
Actually, some of the numbers seem pretty low.
Right.
Like the windows and ceiling, I'm like,
But that's where it shows that he's being a good partner in the community, because I can guarantee you, from what I saw there, he's not making money off the repairs on that. But other people in the community might see that and they know the businesses as and go.
Yeah.
"Oh, he's just. So,
We can follow up on that one.
Okay. New business on the 2024 tourism budget. Travis?
Okay, Tara, I'm gonna ask you to pull that up. Maybe I'll grab the notes from you. So, we've developed a 2024 budget based off of the MAT calculations projected for this year. That was done in conjunction with City Finance and Richard Walker. So we believe that we have a good number in terms of what the projection will be in terms of MAT payments for next year. Can you make that full size if possible? Little peepers don't work. So what is That's gone. Okay, so what is I'm gonna struggle here. Can you make it maybe just go back to what? Yeah, and then can you give me control? Do I have control? I have that.
No,
Okay.
no, sorry, only I have control.
Okay, so what's projected for 2024 is 700,809 789,000.
you might have to get.
Who brought this guy? Jesus.
So can someone get control?
Yeah. Let me manage the money. For next year. So what we've done is we've taken the budget from last year and just looked at what was going to change and what was going to be added new, and then built it out accordingly. So the text that's in red are where the changes occurred. So the first one is the outdoor show. That was a new one for us last year. We had projected $7,000. It was slightly more expensive than that. I think this year we put in $10,000. There is the opportunity to potentially reduce that, but we won't know until a little bit later in the year. Given the logistical issues of getting our booths down there, I think we're going to drive this year, which could reduce costs. And we're in conversation with Destination Ontario about them contributing to food. But as a conservative number, should they not come on board, we're estimating $10,000. And that particular event, we had about 2,200 direct interactions. So it was really great in terms of getting our face out there and our promotions.
Can you go back to what you said about getting who to contribute to what?
Destination Ontario may come to the table with contributing to the dollars.
Okay.
Yes.
Not sharing booths or.
No, we'll have our own booth. We're gonna have a slightly larger booth this year.
Just
I think we had 10 by 10 last year. We're gonna get a 10 by 20. So
That's you guys had for some of these programs.
yeah, so we'll have something similar to that with larger. We had the television playing videos, but it was fairly congested. So when people came into the booth, they blocked the videos. And we'll have some other products there, I believe. So the next one is we bumped incentive works for CANCEP meetings and conventions from $3,000 to $5,000, and that's just to help us with pursuing more meetings and convention bids, which, as Kevin stated, have been rather strong for him this November. Finance, we've bumped from $3,000 to $10,000. That's as a result of us transitioning to the bookkeeper. What we're going to recommend is we'd like to see how the first 6 months go. And then based on those projections, perhaps we lock them in for like a rate and a total PO value for multiple years, just so we're not monitoring on a kind of month by month basis. Scroll down. The next line item that we're looking at is the familiarization tours. It's gone from 25,000 up to 34,000. We've got a number of requests already coming up from Destination Northern Ontario, as well as we have cruise ship FAM, which will be occurring as well, and some additional FAMs that we're in preliminary stages of discussing with Destination Ontario. Now, the same thing here, if there's an opportunity to leverage funding either through partnerships with Algoma Country, Destination Northern Ontario, or Destination Ontario, we'll be able to reduce some funding there. We've always maintained a line item as general development undefined. It's to address opportunities as they come about. This would be in addition to leveraging the general development reserve funds. We've just put a placeholder of $56,212. Following through with the recommendation of the strat plan, we are proposing a events administrator staff. So this would be somebody to assist local organizers in actually putting on events, and we would be looking at potentially developing some of our own homegrown offerings. The budget is listed at $75,000 because it's salary plus benefits. The individual will have to be employed through the city, with Tourism Sault Ste. Marie paying for the wage. What the city does is, for budgetary purposes, they always budget at the highest job class. So in the first year, it may be that we're only paying this individual $70,000 in terms of salary plus benefits, but we're forced to budget for $75,000. And what we would do is we'd maintain this position for 3 years at a max of $75,000 over the next 3 years.
And that was similar to what we did with the concept of them. But that was just a flat.
That was for the film?
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
through the TDF.
Okay.
And yeah.
Yeah.
And then just so this person would help where Josh has been supporting with some of the on Sue, and that would sort of transfer to this person and.
Absolutely. So Josh, technically, I want to tell you again, isn't supposed to be doing
Right.
that level of hands-on work. Focusing on the bids, some of the larger events, supporting those. This individual would kind of be boots on the ground. We've had a few scenarios, where we're really trying to work with some of the event organizers to, like, here's your marketing plan, here's how you're going to implement it, here's some of the specific things that we can do to help you grow your event. And we're seeing more and more of that, where there's like almost hand holding through, and then others, just need another body. And I think, putting another body on it, whether it's administrative or almost like a project management support, can really take it to the next level. So that was a recommendation out of the strat plan, and one that we feel we've got some great event organizers, but there's a lot that could use some help, and I think
It's permanent instead of 3 years. But I mean, the idea here is to build out a platform.
Yeah.
To be able to grow and work with things. I'm just saying, I know sometimes we're limited by, when we deal with government, we're limited by terms in office and all that kind of stuff, because everybody has a different idea, but my personal thought is that if we're gonna develop homegrown events, we have to have a point person. It can't, if you do it by committee, I think you lose the focus of what they may be trying to do.
I think it's in how it's presented. I know. If I was looking for a job like that, I wouldn't leave a job that's permanent, thinking this might only be a 3-year contract. I think it's where you're going. So does that limit maybe
part of
the
that,
talent
yes.
level?
Yes, part of that is absolutely that thought too, yeah.
I mean, that's at your discretion, the board's discretion. This is your budget, because they're free to modify it. We're more than happy to do that. For whatever reason, it was in our head that the board wanted to see a pilot. Maybe that's just something we constructed ourselves, but more than happy to pursue this.
You don't want to obviously, if it's not working after a year or two, you're gonna dismiss that person.
Yeah.
Right?
Right,
They're
yeah.
producing. They pay for themselves in the first year.
Yeah.
It is a
They
challenge
can pay for their
once
next 2 years.
What's that? That's become a challenge once they become city staff.
What do you think the challenge? Get them out?
It can be. I mean, I think if it's funded through Tourism Sault Ste. Marie, there's probably some avenues
Where
there.
would that person report to?
It'll report to Alana.
It's not a challenge, it's up to you to manage. If they don't perform, There you go.
Yeah, well, 100%.
As I said,
I trust you.
God bless your staff, but I say that, you know, when you're trying to develop a thing or grow it, you need dedicated attention.
Yeah,
And like, you know, I know you guys have other roles and, you know, there are other things to focus on. That's just my thought. Lots of money that we haven't spent from years past.
we're supportive.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I mean, again, this is tying into the whole purpose of the strategic plan that we just put together and said, this is the direction we want to go. And there's only one way to get there.
So, I mean, if the budget's approved, then we can proceed, and then, you know.
The only thing that I would say that kind of sticks out in my eye, and I brought this up before, is personally speaking, I think we need to spend more money on the winter campaign. And, you know, when you look at that, you got spring, summer, and I'm not saying we don't want to market in the spring, summer, but I mean, if we're trying to push events like say Vonsu or some of the other things, we have to put marketing dollars behind that.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
But on that note, they
yeah,
have probably directly related to heads and events. But. Correct. So I mean, the dollar amount spent has to be directly related to the impact it has on hotels, and whether we like it or not, it's hard to get to in winter. Yeah. We're never gonna have busloads of people coming like we do in the summer, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it's gotta be relevant, unfortunately.
Well, yes, I agree with that, but I mean, my thought there is that, like we have to take a step in the directions. I mean, if we look in the strat plan, some of the things that identified of attracting the type of visitor that we're trying to attract, right? You know, transportation was a big issue that's not easily solved in a matter of the next year or so.
But people on this front. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I mean, but that's where I think, like I said, like, you know, if we go forth and say, you know, we're committed to building a year-round tourist destination. Now we need, you know, to twist Ross's arm, say the province needs to get on board to, you know, having a better schedule with roads, for example. You know, I know it's a lot easier than just saying. But you know,
but we have cloud if we're committed to
100%. Yeah.
So, so just to play on Don's point, like, we were gonna have a competitive advantage for winter, which I know is really weird.
Yeah.
Most people don't want it, but, so I think there is an opportunity to build off of that. I think an internal KPI that we were looking at initially was, you know, a 10 to 15% growth in occupancy over winter, which when you boil it down isn't that much. So
well, it is when you send it out with the less hockey teams.
yeah, yeah. So I think our team, you know, has identified winter as a real priority for us in terms of growing that occupancy. I think it's a matter of how we go about doing that. I think we need to be mindful that some of our resorts are adding accommodations. And so we'll have to work with them in terms of how we're marketing them, eventually being supported by them. And I also think that event staff could be of assistance here because there are a number of winter events that we would like to build out homegrown. So.
And Richard's in the process right now of launching the winter marketing campaign. It's there.
It's in play. And then, like we were talking about at the beginning of the meeting, you know, now that we know Search Mount's opening on Friday, I don't know if you're here for that, but
they are opening
on Friday. Cool. So we're gonna do a blast.
I might be there cheering people on.
Gonna fire up the old shred sticks.
Yeah, I call those legs.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're gonna do a social marketing, media marketing blast, you know, Sudbury, Northern Michigan, and regionally, to try to catch that early season market. And then we're also trying to determine when the other ski hills are opening, so that we can target those areas. So, but so if the board would like to see, you know, additional funds allocated to winter, In theory, you could pull it out of that general development fund or any other area and allocate it. So we have 82, I mean, we pretty much have 83,000. So, you know, depending on what we believe to be reasonable, you know, if you wanted to add 20 to that. Or
No, just to clear though, like, this is the 24 budget, so this is the winter marketing that comes up next fall.
Next fall.
Right.
So there is, and I'll speak to it a little bit more once we're done the general development budget.
Okay.
But there is potentially some opportunities to draw on from elsewhere.
Yeah, because I mean, if it's a situation where say, and just to throw it a wrong number, so we bumped that up to 100 grand, and we can lever that 100 grand with another 100 grand from an OHFC or whatever other funding source.
Yeah.
I mean, the more we put forth, the more we lever theoretically.
And we are looking at a partnership with Destination Ontario for winter. We're just working through the details on that, but it would be us putting in, I believe, 50 grand, and they would contribute 50 grand to match it. So there's a couple of things there that we're trying to look at. But I 100% agree with you in terms of putting some money.
Yeah. Because I'd be comfortable saying at least bump it up to 100 grand, and I don't know what the other esteemed members feel. But I said that to me, I think that's where we can put the push to kind of balance out our year, and not just from a hotelier perspective per se, but you know, creating that buzz for people to travel, right? Like, you know, we know that there's some events that are happening this winter, like, you know, the Lawrence race coming up. That, you know, I know there's some cross country skiing events that, you know, if we try to get some marketing to repeat visitation or extend that visitation.
Touchy subject, but I would much rather focus on that, knowing the troubles we're having with hockey in our community hotels.
Yeah.
And I would rather be known as that winter destination
No,
than a hockey tournament destination.
Yeah.
No, I'm just using the example.
But no,
right?
but those are perfect examples of what we should be focused on, because those are the things that are good for our community, good for the local people that live here, good for our reputation, versus more controversial topic of hockey tournaments.
So on that, I've discussed it with Lawrence, and we've discussed it with Sioux Cycling. Like, one of the things that we're potentially looking at is a Fat Bike race during the same period as Fall and Sioux, which, you know, kind of awesome one, and Mark that brings in about 2,000 people. Not saying we're going to hit those areas, but we are doing some creative marketing. Lawrence and his team went down to the Iceman early November, which is a big mountain bike race in Traverse City. There was 5,700 racers, and
33 years. That's what we need to do.
And we had a booth. We had a booth at the registration, so where everybody had to go pick up their the registration package, they had to walk by our booth. Plus, we strategically located it next to the beer tent. So, you know,
People drink beer.
yeah, no way, surprising.
What do they
But,
call it, Travis? The biggest party that a bike race broke out at, or something
Yeah,
like that?
exactly. So, you know, you had 5,700 people come through there. Plus, like, those are just the racers. They were we had them bring down our TV with our videos, so it wasn't just Beaver Freezer. Like, they were marketing our trails, the whole 9 yards, and that's a dedicated market. So I think if we start looking at how we're creative with our money, particularly on some of these events, and maybe we're sending people to some of the larger events in the Midwest to market our stuff there, might be a way that we save money.
So to your point, then, is bumping the event marketing line.
Yeah, we could look at that. That would be a good opportunity. Yeah, and actually, I missed some red there, but the miscellaneous bid and event development is 50,000. So we could even pull some money, you know, from there. Because usually when we're doing the event development, that's us supporting some of the events that we think have the best chance of success, and we're putting money in marketing there. So
That Iceman is a great idea. In the same breath, we could also be a feeder fish at the Milky for the Beaver Freezer, because
yeah,
Beaver Freezer's in March, and Milky's in the middle of January.
yeah,
And it's one of the biggest cross country ski races in North America.
and that one's in Marquette as well. So But yeah, I think we need to start looking at being creative and going those things. Good, so. Okay, the next one is digital metrics, and I've been, Jeff, I saw your email. Thanks for your help. I'll probably follow up with you on a few items. This again stems from the recommendations of the strat plan. This includes analysis, visitor spend analysis that we would be collecting, our STR reports. We are also looking at digital data collection from cell phone data, which would be able to provide us with information on visitor traffic, including top attractions that they visit. Jeff was indicating that we could pull out the drive-through traffic versus those that are actually coming and staying in the community. Some of Jeff's an expert on this, so I'll let him speak to it more if he needs to. But some of the interesting pieces that I saw in the research that I was doing. So if you had somebody coming up here to search Mount, you could see the next top 5 attractions that they went to after that. So it would help us with our, potentially help us with our marketing, because if we see, okay, well, all these people from Search Mount are going, probably not going to the art gallery, but hypothetically, they're going to the art gallery, they're going to the Bush Lane, then we can start wrapping that up into our marketing packages when we're, going after skiers, or at least we know we're promoting that. So, Jeff, I took a stab. We had a loose proposal for the visitor spend data at 30,000, and I took a quick stab based on the conversations that I've been having with people, threw in $60,000 as a placeholder. So Jeff, I don't know your thoughts. We didn't get a chance to speak about in advance of the meeting, whether you think that's a good number to start with or not.
Like part of my thinking would be, how much do you think you guys would use and digest in a given year? Like, if you're getting too much, you might be in a drinking from a fire hose situation. If you're getting both the transaction data and the mobile location data, like do you have the staff and capacity to make use of that? And I mean, I frequently advise DMOs that maybe just alternate years, or like if you get the spending data, like that would probably suffice for your needed information for a few years. Same with geolocation, like it's nice to have it every year, but I mean, I love data, so I like them both, but I would caution that it does seem like you're taking a pretty big jump into data. So I don't know, maybe just think I would think about what's your capacity to digest it all right away, and would it make more sense to do a phase, get one and then the other type approach?
So maybe we can talk more. I don't know if this is the right venue for it, but one of the pieces that I'd like to get a bit of a handle on is, in terms of investment in our mountain bike trails, what are we seeing in terms of return, visitation wise? And maybe that's a smaller package, or maybe that's something that we do post, we're gonna probably 2025 will be by the time we put in the bridge over Wishart, the whole 9 yards. So whether we buy it later. Yeah.
See where we were and then see where we go.
Whether we buy that all at once at a later date.
Well, the other thing too is if presumably, I don't want to make assumptions about staff or what we've done in the past, but presumably we've never used data to guide our decisions. Yeah, like Jeff says, you can get into a situation where you go down a rabbit hole and you have no idea what you're looking at or how to use that information. So it would definitely be prudent to say, let's take some baby steps. Let's understanding the data pieces and stuff like that. Maybe is there specific things like you mentioned, of things that we want to measure or check and see of how we could adjust and then progressively over time, say by bigger packages where we want to really drill down and really, as we start to learn, for example, how to use the data, be able to drill down and say, we need to understand a little bit more these particular markets or that particular market, so that we can say, okay, this is the data we need, look at it, we can use it as a benchmark, we can use it as an effort to say, this is where we need to direct marketing dollars. But I gotta tell you, if you put a bunch of data in front of me. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Heads or tails of what it, you know, at this stage in the game, but it's definitely valuable.
Okay. So what we could do is any, like hypothetically speaking, let's say we peel off 20K from this, then that 20K could go into winter to meet the 100K mark.
Is 40K too much? though?
Well, that's, I think Jeff from that, like, I don't know, Jeff, if you can say off the top of your head, how much you think we should allocate, or if that's a more detailed conversation, and then we can update the board on what that line item is.
Yeah, I think for 60K, both transaction and the mobile phone geolocation is in play. And if you went one or the other, yeah, you'd probably be stepping down closer to 40.
Okay.
That'd be my, again, off the top of my head math.
Okay, that sounds good.
It does.
Trying to spend minutes.
Okay, so Jeff, I'll follow up with you one more time on some of that stuff, but we'll place mark a budget somewhere between 40 and 60, and if we're able to reduce it to 40, the funds will go into the winter marketing. I think this is fair.
In the winter or event?
Does the event give us more flexibility?
That we can spend it in the winter.
Yeah, we can trigger it for events. Okay. And then the rest.
Yeah.
So for winter.
And then the rest of the budget is just memberships and subscriptions, and that's consistent with what it was last year. So we haven't changed that. So that's the budget as a whole. Tara, can you scroll right up? So we've got the revenue stream from the map that's shown. We need to get a bit more information from our bookkeeper once we start the year in terms of what the interest is that we're accumulating in our bank account. It was pretty substantial last year. We just haven't been able to draw those numbers right now. And then what we're also projecting in terms of merchandise, and this is a separate request coming out of the general development fund. We've got beautiful t-shirts for the board.
Free shirts?
Free shirts.
Nice.
We were originally
United Harvest.
as
Yeah, exactly.
our theory behind these were kind of passive marketing. Like if we could make a product that was cool enough that people would buy and wear outside of the city, you got complimentary marketing, plus there's a potential to make a bit of revenue on it. Yes. So what we were hoping to,
And I tell you, I've had lots of people ask me, oh, can I buy St. Marie stuff or Canada stuff, or like, you're like, okay, well, you go to a trade post.
Walmart.
You probably get more Canada stuff at Walmart than you can.
Walmart has all kinds of.
Do
But
it.
it's like.
China buys from.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty bad right now.
Alright. This is sent to St. Marie, doesn't mean that it's. And I mean,
three.
I, these guys rocks, they're giving you a shirt for the tourism summit, and they looked at.
These are your
we
logo.
got a ton of compliments on it.
Yeah.
So
But you gave the theme basically with your shirts from last
I
year.
don't want to say how much. Yeah.
I said I don't want to say how much.
Okay.
So
Large. It is huge. All right. Go.
I wear large. I wear large.
I used to wear that in grade 6.
I'll throw into it.
So
Blue, green.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
the just quickly, the thought was if we could get $35,000 from the reserve, general development reserve, we would develop this logo, a winter one, perhaps one other, stickers, shirts, perhaps hats, and then work with OTIC. I've already had Belarusian express interest in selling some products for us. There's probably some other vendors we can look at.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm gonna lobby shop.
Perfect. And then we can do cost plus X%, and feed that back into marketing dollars or additional purchases. So if everybody's supportive of that, I guess the two things we did.
Where can we get the winter one?
People in the budget.
Yeah.
Wear the winter one in the summer. And
Or would we just do a resolution in the budget?
Should make them so that, as Nick says, I'm gonna finish in the winter, when you stretch it out, it comes a different picture. And then you get skinnier. It goes back to the original picture.
An additional 35,000.
You better have one. I believe, I've rode that horse.
Well, I'm just thinking it's not.
I think you
we might just
understand
get that
next
in.
year, so.
But we're talking about it in open.
Next year's.
Yeah, if that covers it.
Well, that, I think that's the money that we're.
You would be allocated, not. So there's the city
Right,
share as well.
That's that portion, right?
But again, it's like 1.7-ish. So for this year.
What's your budget say for growth this year? Gracie's is 9.
Just.
Apparently.
Your MAC collections in 2024. Okay, so this budget's based off of 2023 MAC collections.
Exactly, for 2020.
That will use.
Actuals from 2023. We're always a year behind.
So it's still going to bank. Otherwise, I'll keep it for a year, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Just have any interest on it.
So yeah, it would be the resolution as it stands with an additional 35 for merchandise.
Yeah, I don't even know if we need to add it in the resolution. If the board agrees on, I mean, it's not on the screen, but it's publicly recorded.
We need 35K from that.
Same if we're gonna change some of the
Yeah.
other ones in here, right?
Okay, that sounds good. So, tourism budget. I was getting some wave alongs here. You want me to do the quick one on the Deloitte and Shortman?
Yeah.
Okay, so Deloitte, we were supposed to present to city council November 20th. They had the service boards last night, police, art gallery, bush lane, et cetera, et cetera. The meeting apparently went to 10 o'clock, so they asked us to defer to the 18th, so it sounds like that was a wise decision. The other one, waterfront design plan, we awarded the contract to a group called O2 Consulting. They're based out of Calgary. The lead was originally from Sault Ste. Marie. And I've actually seen some of the work that they've done in person in Calgary. They've done a number of waterfront designs, including LeBret Flats in Ottawa that was implemented. The one in Calgary was implemented, and I've seen it firsthand. It's really high quality work. So we're looking forward to working with them. The week of December 11th, they're going to come to town and do preliminary consultation. We're going to walk the waterfront. We've already done some outreach to kind of tee up people for consultation. Tony mentioned it briefly to the purposes, the art gallery. Devin, Simon, we've done some outreach to try to pin down. So the detailed design areas from Bondar to the bush plane, but we're doing conceptual design from the canal district to the hospital. So we're trying to tee up. We want to make sure that everybody that's operating or is running events on the waterfront are consulted. So maybe tours, the Rotary, all of those groups will be involved in that consultation.
And that's the one in partnership with the end.
In the city, yeah. So I think that's a really exciting project. So.
Okay, any questions for Travis with regards to either the Deloitte presentation gonna go to city council or the waterfront design plan award contract? Okay, so we've already covered 8A with the double-decker bus presentation. Alana, will I turn it over to you for the RAND presentation?
Joffrey's going to do it, just full transparency, my daughter's wearing that player, so I'm gonna keep myself.
Fair enough.
Awesome. Hopefully, yeah, I'm going there. I'm working on it.
Everybody ready for the package.
Yeah, exactly, as submitted. Hopefully everyone's had the opportunity to read it all, give you an extremely brief rundown of all of them. The Northeastern Regional Ringhead Championship, the Sault Ste. Marie Ringhead Association was the successful bid to host next year's event. It brings people from all around the area, March for next year, Sudbury, North Bay, etc. They're anticipating 1,928 visitors from out of town for 2.5 days, giving an economic impact of just over $720,000. Based off of our internal staff matrix, the NER championship scored 87. Providing a recommendation range of 20,000 plus. So staff is recommending a full support of $20,000, $15,000 to be allocated to event hosting expenses of the tournament next year, and $5,000 that can be marked for timing clocks and rink dividers that can be used for the tournament, but are also legacy items that can be used year over year for future tournament hosting.
I had a question about that when I was reading it. Is the timing equipment different than the scoreboards that are already up?
Yes. So Ringette plays with, similar to basketball, with a shot clock. So, when a player takes possession, they have 30 seconds to cross a blue line on a shot clock. So it's a very specific piece of equipment that's used for Ringette.
I never.
Yeah, no.
I have no idea, but
Where did they get mounted on the arena?
It's a plug-in that goes into, where you have your timekeeper and everything.
Same as the basketballs are in the middle gym when they plug in shot clock. High school basketball.
Yeah, right in the middle. So between the two teams, there's the little person in the middle that gets the announcing and so it's a plug-in that goes in there.
And sorry, what was the visitorship over the 2 days?
1,928 over 2.5.
And I can share that is on the low end. There'll be 32 teams. It's a provincial tournament, so they already know who the teams are. Okay. There'll be 32 teams, plus parents, plus families, plus any provincial team that's not.
It's not Walden Ringette.
Walden will be here.
But it's not the Walden Ringette tournament.
No.
That rotates from Timmins.
This is the provincially sanctioned Bring It Ontario.
This one will have our spring, summer marketing.
That's right.
Yeah. Lawrence, Jeff, any questions from you gentlemen? Okay.
Nothing from me right now.
Changes. Oh my God, it's the Oscars out there.
Is there a vote for, or
No,
just keep
keep
running
going.
through? All right, next is the Beaver Freezer. As opposed to what it actually said, this event is March of 2024, not August. Sorry about that. In years past, we've supported the Beaver Freezer. Obviously, it's a big component to our Q1 marketing for sports and outdoor adventure. Right now, organizers are expecting 169 out-of-town visitors for 2 days, leading to an economic impact of just over $50,000. After putting it through our internal evaluation matrix, it scored 41, which is a recommendation of 5,000 plus, and staff is recommending a $5,000 support to the Beaver Freezers marketing expenses.
So not knowing a lot about the sport, but seeing the growth. Can this be bigger?
Yeah, we have a lot of faith in Beaver Freezer to be an anchor event in that
So
course.
should we be doing more to help make it bigger, or is that gonna be natural growth?
Natural.
It's 3 sports in one event. Yeah, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So I just,
the only question I've had about it is obviously we've supported it over a couple of years. Is this an event that, like, instead of having to revisit it every year, stuff like that, do they have a projection saying, we can be self-sufficient in say 5 years? Just throwing it out there and then say, Well, if we've committed, because I think we've committed pretty much about $5,000 a year.
75, 62.
Yeah, so like if we said, yeah, we can just for the next 3 years to help you grow, we'll give you $5,000.
So they've transitioned from logistical support request to this is money to pour into marketing.
Which you don't control.
Well, they have to spend it, we vet it. Yeah, so, to grow this event, I believe it needs to be marketing. That they have the anchor, they have the backbone, they know what they're doing to run it operationally. To grow it, we need to put money into marketing, which is what they're asking for here. So I turn it to the board to decide what value you think that has. Based on the matrix, we know it shakes out at around 5,000, but there's an opportunity.
Well, and that's where that creative, like the attendance at the ice band, like that specifically, Lawrence and I both manned his booth at the Traverse City Trails Fest back in September. Like, so I think, yeah, anyways, you guys said.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, you know, how we made a commitment to Save On Sioux, that we said, okay, we're gonna support you for this much time. You know, like an event like this that we've identified as saying, this is an event that we believe in, this is an event that we should give ongoing support, would it make sense? That's all I'm asking.
This is a TDF.
This is a TDF. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to.
I can give you some information on what we're doing this year comparative to last year, if that would be helpful.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Everybody here. Hi. So this year I've brought in 2 additional people to help, one with logistics, one with marketing and outreach. So we've been contacting every race promoter in Michigan, trying to get on site for their races. So we've gone to 3 Michigan races so far, set up. Passively, we're trying to get our marketing materials and our rack cards into the race bags. Now that's still an ongoing relationship. We still have to develop some trust with those race promoters, and they're actually doing reference checks on me right now by contacting other people in the race community to determine if they're going to work with us or not. But bringing in more staff obviously increases the cost for me. And I'm, you know, it's kind of been a one-man show up to this point, other than with the Sioux College and the city marketing assistance that's been going on in the background. One of the things that we're really trying to do is develop that Michigan market, because, you know, we've gone to these races in Michigan and people are asking us, you know, what are the trails like in Sault Ste. Marie? And as I'm wearing my shirt, on the rack card itself, I have those QR codes for the tourism website for Sault Ste. Marie. And so they can get on there right away and see exactly what our trails are like. I think one of the benefits that we're adding to this is, you know, it's not just about the race, it's about promoting our community. And we're getting the transition of people coming to our community just to ride outside of the race. And I think that's the bigger part of it. That's kind of missing in the matrix when we do the funding allocation for this. So I thought I'd just put that out there. And the people I'm working with are from the Sault Ste. Marie. So we've sort of combined our heads together to not only promote the city, but also their races, so that we have more broad reach from races that are all throughout our community all year long.
Yeah, can I speak to what Lauren just said? I think this and Crank and Shield that are both in the TDF are events that absolutely highlight, you know, the outside of expected, the trail development that we're doing, and they're definitely you know, coexist in a really good way.
So the budget gets approved, having this other body to support that is one of the goals, right?
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
That's one of the primary goals, is having staff working with these events that much bigger.
Okay. The 2024 Ontario Youth Championships for cross country has been submitted. If you, the board recalls, for those of you who are here, we supported this event in 2022. It's a pretty standard amount of individuals coming to this event, but they are anticipating 280 out of town visitors for 2.5 days, which is about $100,000 in economic impact. The notes on their budget are seen in the board package, so I won't go over that. But putting it through the matrix, it scored a 40.5, which puts it in the 5,000 plus category. We're recommending a support of $5,000 to go towards facility rental, audiovisual costs, and signage, which is in line with our support from 2022. Crank the Shield, a 3-day multi-stage mountain bike race that runs in the backcountry of Algoma. Something that I'd like to take note of this year is that there is a new ride format, which allows participants the opportunity to purchase a stop and go pass, which lets cyclists return to the downtown core every evening of the event. So you can get your standard pass that we've done in the past, or if someone's interested in a little bit more of our culture and culinary scene, that's available as well. Since the last time we hosted the event, we have quite a few more mountain bike trails, so it's a good opportunity for us to highlight that. Festival or organizers of the event are anticipating 183 out of town visitors for an economic impact of $90,000. Putting it through the matrix, it scored a 40.5, so staff is recommending a $6,000 support to Crank the Shield. We identify this as an opportunity to grow the event with increased marketing exposure, and it's just a one-to-one, again, promoting our trail system that we've been investing in so heavily for this.
15 groups planned. Is it mostly at Stokely again?
I'd have to consult them.
He was talking, and we've got to square this away, but he was talking about potentially about 2 days at Hiawatha.
1 day at Stokely, 2 days at Hiawatha. Not starting in Batchewan, starting at Stokely this year.
Yeah.
Right.
And then 2 days in Hiawatha.
So that whole dream of doing that the first year when we had the train take everybody out, it's just not feasible from a price point for Sean anymore.
To rent the train for the day when we did it the first time, it was 15,000, and tourism paid that though.
Really?
And now it'll probably be more.
This is a much better scenario for us, obviously, with them using our trails for 2 days.
Yeah.
If there's no other questions on that, I want to just point out quickly that both with Hiawatha Highlands and potentially Crank the Shield, definitely with Hiawatha Highlands, we've been pushing for them to come back with a separate product development application. Going back to our competitive, what did I say? Yeah, to finish. Sorry. Competitive advantage for winter. We're now back into high school races, so we have the opportunity to get NASA, OSA, the Ontario OUAs is an option. O-Cups are an option, and potentially some others. My stepson raced OSA in Peterborough last year. They were like actually bringing in snow for the event. So looking at like some permanent infrastructure for the stadium location, plus any other kind of equipment that they need to operate these races, looking at it holistically from, you know, if we develop a really solid race course, how many of these events that we can get year over year. And I think it's kind of like your point, thinking long term about these things, like we need to make sure that they have the resources that they can pull them off successfully. Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Thank you for that, Josh. That's a lot of TDF in front of us. Do we have any questions, comments with regards to the TDF as presented? other than wanting to change them, and that is within our purview. Did you want to specifically discuss the beaver freezer on that?
I mean, I think we're talking about going up.
Yeah, but I think don't have to start with the first, isn't the first one?
Do
The
the
last.
20 budget's the first resolution. Are you into resolutions?
Well, I was just gonna say, if we wanted to have this a conversation about them before we go into the resolutions, or we can respect that to get to the resolution, that's fine. So the budget is the first one, and that resolution reads, be it resolved, the Tourism Sioux State Marine Board of Directors approve the 2024 budget as presented, and that a report to City Council be submitted for approval. So a mover for that one. Don?
So we don't have to submit, sorry, I didn't catch that. We don't have to submit it to council for approval.
Oh.
That would
not
be
last year.
if we presented our own city budget.
Okay.
And are we locking this version of it in by saying yes, or is there an addendum to say that with managing, like switching around the funds out of the digital to, like, we have to write that in?
No,
I don't think so.
that was all part of the open conversation,
The total's the same, okay.
with the exception of the 35,000 for the marketing, but that was part of the conversation and
Yep.
considered as presented.
Second.
Okay, so let me just rephrase it with the city council removed. So be it resolved that Tourism Sioux State Marine Board of Directors approve the 2024 budget as presented for approval. Don, and then. And all in favor of that? Okay, all in favor, that motion was carried.
But before we look at the other one, I did want to make a comment about just going along the line of thinking with some of the events that we have before us that we've supported in previous years. Maybe not at this particular sitting, so to speak, but I mean because my guess is that we're gonna see other ones from these folks at some point, is to maybe like pre-screen and say, like, you know, this is one that we've identified as one that we want to build out. Maybe amending future applications for those to say, if we're gonna support you in a way to help you build it out, whether be it marketing or however way, but it's gonna be a commitment that's gonna be something that we consider over multiple years, instead of going through the process again. I'd be open to, and I don't know if the other board members feel that way, but I'd be open to say, you know, set up something like we did for Bonsu, where we just have one thing and say, okay, we're gonna support you in this way with this much money. Then it's in the budget, it's accounted for.
And that would be from the general development side of it.
Whichever, yeah.
I don't think
No, yeah, but I'm saying that, you know, things that we've identified that we can say, okay, we wanna build on these and work with the groups organized.
As opposed to having them come forward.
Yeah.
with the PDF,
I
it
guess
moves to the-
in theory, I totally agree, but in a year or two, if you and I aren't on board, the new board takes that on and is responsible for that money that they did vote on. Is that considered a concern?
We could,
An idea. What if, when we get the new event position in, we build out a budget for them to support the events they're working on based on the reserve money that you have? They will allocate 50,000, whatever that number is, for them to invest into the event.
we could give them like a 4-year, 5-year runway and then revisit after that. I mean, that like.
That doesn't have to be forever, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that, but I'm just saying, like, you know, obviously, you know, there's gonna be items that we identify as important items for seasons, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, for example, we've identified, you know, potentially Lawrence's race and game, one to really try to grow. Well, then it's just, in my opinion, you know, kind of put our money where our mouth is and say, okay, Lawrence, we'll work with you, you know, you know, if we go forward with the staffing person, and that staffing person that could help you on the marketing side, whatever it is, to the tune of this much money. You know, obviously, we review it after the event is held, you know, as per process dictates, you know, with the proviso saying that, you know, for whatever reason, they didn't meet expectations, say, you know what? See you later, bye. Yeah, you know.
Could we propose that in January, we actually go through all the annual events as a group and talk about them and at least put it on paper our support long term.
For sure.
Because we've got.
Yeah, and Elena, you
It's a
have
good
some of the
thing that
package from
it's been around for
what
a
we
few years.
previously done as
Yeah.
well too, so.
I have all of it.
Yeah, so add in the tier.
Support this by.
Or at least be able to input into saying, okay, you want some more support, but here's what we wanna see.
Helps whoever coming to the table with the bid to go, okay, the group feels you gotta focus on this, or they really feel strongly about that, actually help the bid.
It will also help us hold some of the groups accountable. Because there are things that we believe we've addressed, and then they recircle, and it's like, they're good events, you don't wanna pull the money, but you're like, please think before you do this. And that's where I think sitting down and going through that would be very helpful.
For sure. Okay, the double-decker bus is the next resolution. We had the conversation with regards to recommending a $90,000 contribution on it. So that resolution will now be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution of $90,000 to support the double-decker bus tour project through the Tourism Development Fund product development stream, and that a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. Do I have a mover for this resolution? Kevin? And a seconder? Yeah. And all in favor of the double-decker bus? And that motion is carried. Next would be Sioux Ringette Championships. Be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution of $20,000 through the Tourism Development Conferences and Special Events stream to support the 2024 Northeast Regional Ringette Championships to be held March 22nd to 24th, 2024, and then a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. Now, we didn't discuss this one at all, so I will ask if there's any questions, comments, or concerns. Feel free to.
I do have a question about that. I believe, and I don't remember the date. I remember there was a time where they held the tournament here multiple years in a row. Am I wrong? Am I remembering it that way? Yes.
I don't remember, but that's not to say it didn't happen. I don't remember that.
I remember it was, I want to say Ringette on there. The only reason I remember this was one of my staff members, her daughter played in Ringette, but it was organized by.
Is it a homegrown one?
No, it was Ringette, Ontario, and they had a certain tournament 2 years in a row. Or am I just?
I'm wondering if we're sure, right? Because in a lot of these sanctioned provincial event, like it's a runway, right? You host the regionals and you host the provincials. They can be back to back.
So, yeah, full disclosure, the club is looking at going after provincial bid. If they have a successful Northeast bid this time, they'll go after the provincial ones. We may see back to back this year and next year.
Yeah, I'm just thinking because of the amount of money they're asking for with legacy equipment, you say, hey, you know, if I give you this money and we want to see production. Yeah, on putting forth at least making, you know, you can still get turned down, for example, but you know, really pursuing.
I think that's valid, and I think that's what you'll see with their, you know, interest in bidding next year. They'll have
Do you
those-
actually get this one back-to-back years or no? You do it once and then you're on a waiting list for the next time? Like, is there a rotation of cities?
It'll be 5 years.
5 years, okay. What's in?
The opportunity for them to develop their own event. Is there room in the schedule? Is it?
Pretty hard. I've been on it lately.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard. Walden right now has a jamboree in February, and they're only allowed X number of sanctioned events in Northern Ontario.
Oh,
So one has to drop before they'll pick up another one.
But this legacy equipment does build on our ability to pitch to say, right, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I would also say these are the type of investments that we ask our sports groups to invest in and to put into teams. You know, these are the conversations. So
Who owns legacy equipment? The club. The club.
Lawrence, Jeff, any comments or feedback with regards to the ringettes? Okay, so.
Expected a jersey, Lawrence.
All right, so again, the TDF as read is be it resolved, Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution of 20,000 through the Tourism Development Fund, conferences and special events stream to support the 2024 Northeast Regional Reggae Championship to be held March 22nd, 2024, and a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. A mover for this one, Tracy and Nick, and the seconder, and all in favor of this one. Kevin, you ready? Okay. So motion carried on that one. The TDF application for the 2024 Beaver Freezer Marathon, Lawrence, you'll be abstaining from this one.
Go in and change.
Put your crank sweater up.
Be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution of $5,000 through the Tourism Development Fund, conferences and special events stream to support the 2024 Beaver Freezer to be held March 9th, 2024, and the report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. A mover on this one. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, this was the one you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I think we should get more.
Okay.
I
And it's
think
all right now, the $5,000 is for marketing, Lawrence?
Well,
Pretty much
yeah.
and
Yeah,
support.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, no,
I already spoke.
that's,
I think we don't.
So the 5,000 was asked for in March.
yeah, I think we have an opportunity to go up with these.
And this is, if we're gonna have signature winter events, this is not one we can build into.
It just,
I agree, but should we ask them realistically how much money, marketing money would be realistic?
Well, again, he had suspended in
It's
order
suspended
for.
and the receipts
Yeah.
gotta come in, so if we spent 7, we only gave 7.
So
No, I understand that. I
We
just-
can help. You-
we would plan that marketing in conjunction with Lawrence and his team. Marketing dollars go like that. So I think if you were to do like a concerted effort into northern Michigan and early, the issue is that marketing has to be done early. I think by the time you're in mid-February, people are already thinking about summer and they don't want to do winter events. So I don't think it would be an issue spending that. We would probably allocate a healthy portion to social media marketing. We could look at some other publications. And I think part of that marketing could go to race identification and booths at those registration tables. So I think we would use it pretty healthy.
So 10 grand could easily be spent without even scratching your head about it.
Right.
Well, it is putting like
Yeah,
the,
that's what's saying, is that,
Well,
is that enough?
yeah, so what I was gonna say is, yes, and the nice part about it is the imagery that you're gonna be using is promoting our cross-country skiing, our snow shooting, our staff hiking.
To me, I think 15 or 20 is more realistic. If we're gonna go
you
all
just
in.
said the budget that we're still sitting on for Matt for this year.
300,
For the,
326,650
In the next
for,
6 weeks.
yeah,
so the challenge will be,
Yeah, so I think we get into, the only challenge that I see is we get into a situation with the TDF where we have a hard time justifying it versus the matrix. And so we will, I guarantee you, get requests from certain groups saying, we want X amount of dollars for our event, and it comes in at the $5,000 range, and they want significantly more. So to be able to, we'll just have to be very clear on how we set that justification.
Yeah.
Because we go.
I think we just did. Don't you think? We just talked
Yeah.
about, you know,
This is a
again,
signature
reference our strat plan.
Yeah.
Reference what
Yeah.
we're trying to do and how this cross promotes other winter activities, which is what we're trying to do better. in
Yeah.
the winter.
So you guys are thinking of what dollar value?
20.
I can't see how that.
It's already demonstrated 2 years in a row, being very unique winter experience. I did it last year, half on skis and half on ski boots. And because skiing, I'm terrible at, so I just threw them to Shannon and Ryan at Force the Canoe. I was like, I'm gonna run the rest of it. And it was awesome. Like, it's a great event. It's so cool. It is a pillar of showing off our fat biking, our running through trails, and our cross-country skiing. And then, oh yeah, we have this amazing downhill ski resort that just won an award too. up in Stokely, we've got their, always in the running for the top North American ski resort. I mean, it's pennies with the money we've got sitting there. And we really need to start embracing the fact that in the next few years, people are gonna be chasing snow. And we are a purveyor and anchoring ourselves as a signature winter destination is huge. No matter how hard it is to get here, people will travel for it eventually once it starts melting everywhere else. You had me at
I think you just had to say hi.
Yeah.
Okay. Magic numbers 20. Earmark for marketing. For marketing.
Definitely gonna ask for the card today. Very generous.
And I mean, like, I don't know what the possibility of sending a couple of team members down to the Noki and to the Berkey, because you still got a month out from the Berkey in February, which is the biggest North American ski race, right?
1,000 people.
10,000 people.
Wow.
Have a booth there, sitting in the main drag, like.
He just bought that. He bought it, Mike.
I mean, this is what's going on. I can drive.
All right, the revamped resolution now reads, be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution of $20,000 through the Tourism Development Fund, conferences and special events stream to support the 2024 Beaver Cruiser to be held March 9th, 2024, and that a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. A mover for this one. Kevin? Nick? You're moving it? Okay. And seconder? Don? All in favor of this one? Excellent, motion carries.
Very Lawrence gets done.
Next year, right? So it's not that much lower.
Yes.
More people the next.
Yes, right. To finish, Nordic Ski Club Youth Championships 2024 is next. Be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution of $5,000 through the Tourism Development Fund, conferences and special event stream to support the 2024 Ontario Youth Cross Country Ski Championships to be held March 1st to 3rd, 2024. And then a report be submitted to City Council for approval. Mover? Nick? Kevin, a seconder. And all in favor of this one? And motion carried. And our final TDF on the agenda is the 2024 Princess Shield. Did we want to have any further conversations with regards to this one?
No, I read it there. I guess it's a biannual or?
That's correct.
Biannual, okay, make sure I'm getting it the right way. So it's every 2 years, and is it, like, are they committed to doing it every 2 years here?
The organizer is more than 5 per year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you look out here, but they feel that there is more demand created after a year off, because it's like such a commitment to be a 3-day
Right.
sort of deal.
Right. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to understand.
Why not every year?
Well, the thought about. Okay.
It's a lot of work for him as well, because he's got other events.
And their ask was directly related towards marketing as well. Yeah. Okay. So the ask on that one was the 8,000, the staff recommendation was 6,000, and the resolution as compared is at 6,000. We're good, we'll go ahead with that one. So be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution of $6,000 through the Tourism Development Fund, conferences and special event stream to support the 2024 Crisis Shield to be held August 15th to 18th, 2024. And then a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. A mover on this one. Don, and a seconder. Tracy.
For Lawrence.
Hey, Lawrence.
Keep going.
Get that way, someone else is calling the
Too
name.
late for questions, sorry.
I will call for a vote on the 2024 Crisis Shield and motion carried. Okay, so that is all the TDFs in front of us. Let me just go back to my agenda.
Next meeting.
Next meeting. Thank you. Next meeting, December 19th. Ho, ho, hoing. I will call for a mover to adjourn today.
Discuss the next meeting before we. Shall we adjourn? Sure. Is anybody interested in moving the meeting time at 3 o'clock and then posting cocktails and killers and hot. I'm very interested.
I would love to express my.
Motion carried.
We'll have the ability to stream. Yeah, cool.
We can still do it
Yeah.
here, just
Yeah,
at a
yeah,
different
we should,
time.
yeah, we could do it there and stream it there and have the reception, we can do it here, go there.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay. So December 19th, and that's, so, sorry, city council was on the 18th, correct?
Yeah.
So if the chair wants to change the meeting to 3 p.m. 2:30, 2:30. Is it a long one, you think?
No,
It shouldn't be.
So do you want to do 2:30 to 3:34 and then have a
Sure. Okay, so mover for adjournment. Dawn, and then Lawrence is the seconder. All right, and we are adjourned for today. Thank you everyone for your time. Good work.